Maritime Rights Project is a project we've supported for a number of years because we believe in the incredible thing going on there. I mean, just the idea of just bringing people together and inspiring them and training them on how to write and tell stories, just something on Channel's Book Club we are big fans of. And kudos to the team. Well, 2026, another year, Maritime Rights Projects. Enjoy this.
The 6th edition of the Maritime Writers Project's Creative Writing Bootcamp is here. This year, the Lagos Port Complex Apapa hosts pupils, students, educators, writers and journalists for the opening ceremony of the annual hybrid bootcamp at its multi-purpose hall.
It didn't happen. So you need imagination to be able to create.
After scaling the entry stage, participants engage with the expertise of professors, academics, authors, journalists, publishers, illustrators, maritime professionals, and captains of industry. The free project brings together creative writing, maritime literacy, and experiential learning with a focus on inspiring authentic African stories from the maritime world.
Through the years, it's also enriched us. So in learning to give to people, you also begin to get enriched yourself. So I've grown in knowledge. I've grown in my knowledge of the maritime industry. In my writing skills, I've also grown. I've met beautiful people. The blessing I think we all at the faculty get is that we see results. You know, we see that we live here better every day, and we see that our partners are willing to always support us.
The theme of this year's edition is Voyages through Choke Points, Power, Passage, and Life at Sea.
Few themes could be more fitting for our times. Every day, the world's trade, over 90% of it, moves silently through waterways, and most people never think about it until a single vessel wedged across a canal reminds the entire planet how fragile and how powerful these narrow passages truly are. The Strait of Hormuz, the Suez, the Malacca Strait, and the Gulf of Guinea. These are not just good geography.
You are fortunate to be here, to be able to learn, and to add one thing to yourself, that you should be able to tell the story about the marine environment or our ocean in a very good way that everybody can understand.
For the sustainability of the maritime industry, it is a must, we must capture them young. Because the child in Kirikiri, isn't it? I think these children must know how to draw water. Take them to Kirikiri. The slop and sludge there, they will see black water. And you will now take them to Lekki. We must be experimental. We have to be intentional because they don't have to get to secondary schools before they get to know the color of water.
You have to be teachable. You have to learn. You have to be available to be taught.
For participants, the bootcamp offers more than lessons in creative writing. It provides an opportunity to explore the maritime sector, understand its place in the blue economy, and translate those experiences into compelling stories. One of the project's alumni, Uche Ohieri, who is present at the 2026 edition, recalls how her previous participation in the bootcamp impacted her life.
When I joined the Maritime Rights Program in 2022, I honestly did not know that I was stepping into an experience that would influence so many parts of my life. At the time, I was just a young girl who enjoyed writing. Then the Maritime Rights Project introduced me to something bigger. It taught me to look beyond simply writing a good essay. It taught me to look at the world around me, to ask questions about our oceans, our environment, our communities, and relationship between human beings and the maritime world. And somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing environmental protection as something I was just writing about. I started seeing it as something I wanted to be a part of. That was one of the biggest changes the program brought into my life. But one of the things I'm mostly grateful for is that the Maritime Rights gave me the confidence to write my first book.
And to be a writer, you must deploy.
The head of faculty for this year's edition, Professor Adigbite Tobaleshe, kicks off the sessions with his signature interactive approach to teaching and learning.
Who you write for determines the depth of language that you must deploy. You are writing for a professional, for example. You want to write something that speaks to a medical doctor. You need to know their terminologies, or what they call jargons. You must understand it. If you don't, by the time you write, they will tell you, this writer doesn't have depth of our language. He's not a medical doctor. But a writer is everything. As a writer, you can be everything. You can be a cobbler, shoemaker. You can be a tailor. You can be a pilot. You can be a captain of a ship, depending on how you put your ideas together.
When you grow into something, you know it better than being taught when you are a bit on the. So that's why I'm happy, and I'm even more happy that there are more young girls, because we need to encourage girls to go into this industry. Because now MPA, let's take from I can talk about my organization. I think we are encouraging more female pilots now to be on board. So because we need to have such, so we have a balance.
Being here today, it's just opening my mind to what is actually beyond the classroom, and also being in Nigerian ports, we can see the physical aspects of maritime beyond what we see in the book. So today has been mind-blowing for me, and my heart is so open to receive a lot from this project today.
For 6 consecutive years, the Maritime Writers Project has gone beyond teaching literature by combining creativity with maritime literacy and the possibilities of the blue economy. The project continues to equip young and old with the knowledge and creative tools to tell authentic African stories from the sea.